Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect. Today's beverage is an absolutely delicious blend of mango, orange, lemon, pineapple, passion fruit, apricot, and guava in a sparkling water. One of my most enjoyed beverages at the moment indeed. So welcome back to the game where previously we finished off our female transfer facility, for the lack of a better name. The idea is that now it's completed, we have we have 5 cells. One of them we can sort of discount because it is protective custody, but the 4 main cells are rated Supermax and a fairly low grade. We've got high risk, which is mediocre grade. I wouldn't even call these bad. These are more than the bare minimum. We've got the medium/normal category of inmates, which is got a fairly decent grading, and then low risk, which has the highest grade, mainly due to the cells. And the idea is that inmates will come in at a high risk, and then they'll go further down because there'll be that desire to transfer. However, it works for the most part, and the idea is there, and the facilities are in there. There's just a couple of settings I think we can tweak and change in order to improve it, and that's what this video will be about. And we're going to do a bit of an experiment in a few places actually, so we're going to make some changes that are fairly obvious, and we'll go through all of the settings and such, mainly based on feedback, which is great, thank you. And then we're going to do maybe a bit of an experiment by adding in some more rooms and things like that, but we'll see how we get on. So first things first, we're going to go over to reports and to the transfer window. So this shows all of the inmates that are motivated to qualify and that qualify at the moment. So we're going to go to the very top of this one and go to Supermax. So currently there are no inmates that are motivated and none that qualify. If we go to maximum security, we have 6 inmates motivated, however none of them qualify, and then down to medium, going from medium to low risk, again none and none. And the way this works is, well, for a start, the motivation is based on what the next quality rating is. I'll come back to that in a moment. And then obviously motivate to qualify. After that, they have to basically achieve a certain level of criteria. So we've got no staff assaults, no murders, no escape attempts, no dangerous contraband, gang members disqualifications. So you've got gang leader, lieutenant, soldier, or none. We've just said all. So if you are a gang member, you're not allowed to transfer. That doesn't really matter because it's not in. So I can actually just remove that if I want to. You can see it says then qualify. He says 6 of 6, but we can remove it, and we will indeed do that because gangs are not on. But that's fine. We'll come back to that. And then you've got things like estimated chance of reoffending and programs passed. Then on the right, it shows you the qualifying prisoners. So at the moment, Supermax, for example. Oh, we've got a tunnel there almost certainly. You can see it says 10 days for no staff assaults, murders, escape attempts, and dangerous contraband. They have to basically be in the facility for 10 days minimum, with no real bad behaviour for 10 days in order to be considered to qualify. And then reform, they need to have an estimated chance of reoffending 30% or low and have 1 program as passed. The problem with that is that, as people pointed out, we don't allow any prisoner programs. So I've got prison labour on for the high risk or the Supermax, nor do I have any programs. So I'm going to turn on all of those and then go back over to our regime. Actually, it'll actually be in programs and edit schedule, and you can see we do indeed have a lot of these that have moved around. So I'm gonna have to go through and add and change all of these, aren't I? So I'll do that just now because I think it would be best to have all of these going where we can. Do I need any more in here? I don't think I do. No, I don't. And then spiritual guidance. So there we go. There's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want all those running throughout each individual one. That's fine. I'll come back to that. And also, it means that there's like programs passed. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock the criteria down to 5. It was originally 6. Might have even been higher, but that was based on no gang members. Because if I put the gang members, so gang members disqualified all, but qualifying prisoners, like we've just sort of removed it because at the moment all of the gang members will qualify. They definitely will qualify because guess what? None of them are gang members, but it doesn't really help. I'm actually just going to turn it back on just because it's just easier to... We've had it on previously, so we can get the readout. But yeah, if we knock this down to, say, 5, so for example, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the staff assaults and such, yeah, it means that we're still going to have a decent transfer. Yeah, so knocking it down to 5 means that we'll have a lot of inmates transferring over. It means that they can the sticky one is the program's passed and the estimated chance of reoffending. The latter, the program's passed, that is obviously a problem that we've had because I hadn't had the programs on, like work, education, well-being, etc. I've just turned that on for the high and supermax inmates. After that, it then comes due to reoffending, and then reoffending normally only changes if they've had good behaviour and indeed are doing programs. So hopefully doing a couple of things, which is knocking the criteria down, should be fine, because we can review these transfers now and we can actually move some people to medium, which we can actually do. We'll confirm that over. And we still have people, there you go, so prisoners ready to transfer to minimum sec, and we can do that, so we'll approve that in a second. So we got 4 prisoners that are able to qualify. It was 5 prisoners, and then after this it won't be any because it's the criteria is 10 days. I think that's a little bit harsh. I'm going to bring that down to 7 days. For the supermax inmates, I think that's more reasonable, and we'll keep the reoffending chance there. Let me just review the transfers. Let me approve all the transfers for that. So we've already moved down more inmates than I'd expected, which is actually really good. I'm also going to go to intake and to max sec and take in some of these as well, because, well, why not? That's because of the transfers, I guess. You know what? I don't need them inmates in here for bank balance purposes and such. I'll let it do its own thing. Okay, that's fine. Right, over to here we go. Over to programs and to I'm going to click reschedule and edit, and then I'm going to go through it. So, what we want is a set of 4 programs run. 4 of the same programs. So, for example, kitchen safety and hygiene, we want to run it in each individual area. So, supermax, max, medium, minimum. We've done it there. Oh, actually, while I remember, deployment, minsec. There we go. I'd had that set wrong before, and that one was staff only at one point, but it is actually fine now. So yes, now the now the inmates here have access to a yard, which is handy. Anyway, back over here. So, edit schedule. So, yes, we want in Classroom Supermax, we want General Education Qualification and the Foundation Education Program. Let me just move these around. So, Foundation Education Program and General Education Qualification. So, we want that like so, and like so, and like so, and like so. So, there we go. We now have Supermax, Foundation Education, then General. Same for Max Sec, for Medium Sec, and Min Sec. So that's all set, which is good, and it's pinned, so it shouldn't move. Let me pin all of these to say you do not move, although in my experience it normally does. Alcoholics Group Therapy, we will shift this about, like so. That's all set. And then parole hearing and spiritual guidance. Oh, so actually, all of these it has been sort of set correctly. So now we have more programs being ran for all of the inmates, which means we now have more inmates motivated to qualify. There's 5 inmates motivated to qualify, none for there and none for there. But we have just moved people around. Okay. We did say about motivation and how, you know, we do need to look at that. And, well, indeed, we can go over to logistics. And we got room quality. And it does show you the quality. And in general, it gives us a rating of the different gradings. So we've got the cells in the Supermax, which is rated 5, and then 7 in high risk, 10 in the 10 in the medium, and then 14 in the low. However, we also have individual grading for what we've set up for the sectors. So for max sec grading, we have a grade of 128 out of a maximum 250. There we go. So 32 inmates are housed in Supermax. A breakdown of this sector's grade is provided below. The more privileges added, the higher the grading. The max grading is 250. Note: prisoners motivated for transfer will only take effect for the clear for transfer DLC installed and the prisoner transfer option turned on, which we have got. So, for example, and that's going to be that tunnel is going to be it's still a problem. Tunnel search is actually underway, and they've already done the tunnel search here. I reckon that is a tunnel. It's toilet and sink, dismantle, prioritize. Let's just max speed this out and wait to find it. Here we go. Any second. Still talking. It's not working. Dog cat dog has detected something. And indeed, there it is. So we can put that back. So we'll go toilet and sink and plop that down. Remove tunnels like so. And I'm going to do a cursory remove tunnels across the way like so. Back over to the grading, shall we not? Let's have a check at that. So yes, for example, grading for the Supermax, which, as I said, it's grading 128 of 250. We have inmate privileges, plus 20 for visitation. There is a plus 10 for mail, which we've not met across the board, by the way. That is, and the same is actually the case for gym access and showers, and 10 hours more of sleep. The showers we can't actually meet because there's no weather and temperature on, so that doesn't really matter. However, the mail and the gym access and the sleep we can alter. We do have plus 10 for work access, which is cash, plus 15 for education and program access. Now, we've previously had access to it, but I don't know whether we've had... I don't know whether this means access or you've got it in the programs list. We have got it in the programs list. Now, plus 5 for ample free time, 20%. Plus 10 for extra free time, which is 30% free time. Plus 15 for yard time. Shop access and common room access. And then we've got an overall grading for cell quality, which is low overall. Common room quality, which is low overall. And then classroom quality, which is average. I don't know really what to do with that one because, frankly... you can't really get the classroom smaller than this without removing chairs, and doing that means you can't have bigger classes. So why would you not? Like, room size, you have to have that size to fit in the school desks. Unless you can only have people, let's see if it's like 10 or something. Education program. It does say 20 places. So you can have 20 people. So I could reduce the grading of this if I was to say go under 10 school desks. But I don't feel the massive need to. In law, by the way, that is 8, but I can get it to 9 with a water cooler. Like so. Back over to the grading. So that was our Supermax. MaxSec is only better by not much, is the technical term. 137. It's only up by 9. And that's because there's more facilities, so the yard quality's increased. And that is basically it. Wow. As for medium, that goes to 142. And that's, again, not much different, is it? What's that? 5 difference. And then it goes up to 55. So the difference in grading between Supermax and Supermax and minimum sec is only, what, 22 total grading? But the room quality individually is much, much better. The way to increase it overall would be give people more sleep for a start. That gives us a straight plus 10. But then that would probably reduce the extra free time bit, mightn't it? Have access to mail rooms and gym access. Can't do hot showers. So this is where the experimentation comes in. Let's go over to what we're currently on from this one. 155 for the grading for minimum sec. If I was to go to regime and go to, say, sleep time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 plus hours of sleep should give us a better grading. And it is indeed a better grading. I might do the same for... Oh, hang on. For medium security. Although, do I? I'm not sure. I certainly want the minimum security to be better. 165, 142, 137, 128. That's a bigger spread. That's a better spread. The problem is I don't know if they can work because we've obviously reduced some of the free time. It'll be based on programs. Nothing is getting moaned at there. That will have to do. Right. Okay. Which means we might have more people motivated to qualify. 1 prisoner now qualifies. 5 prisoners motivated to qualify. Okay, we are getting somewhere. What else could we do? We could provide... We could reduce the amount of food being supplied in the Supermax. Because we do have 2+ meals a day. So Supermax. Policy. No. Regime. I'm going to say... free time. Like that. So now... we should only have 1 meal a day. So that's now 128. 137, 142, 166. Ideally, we want a gym. And we want a gym in here. The problem is that a gym is 7 by 7 and I can't fit it in. That is the problem. So Gymnasium is a 7 by 7. And I don't have any rooms in here that are a 7 by 7. I have a 6 by 6. And I could technically change the chapel over to here and have this as a gymnasium. I could do that. I'm just trying to go through the options available to try and get the grading up. Another one is mail. And the mail room, if I just check in here... would give us +10. The problem with that is that you need a mail room. Now, a mail room, minimum size of 5 by 5. And it's a work area. I'm going to put it over where the cleaning cupboard was. And we're going to zoom in. And we need sorting desks. So I can have a sorting desk there and a sorting desk there. And then we need tables, which I can put like that. That should be fine. Let's prioritize those. And then naturally, I'll go for prison labour. And there's only 3 people that's working in there, but it doesn't matter. At least there's now access. And then I'm going to turn off mail for all inmates, apart from low risk. Which means now... we now have mailroom. That's now 176. We've also now got a condition of death/injury over in here. Which I didn't see because we weren't looking at it. Our clothes are looking a bit tatty. Yes, they are. Also, 1, 2, 3, 4, because the place is absolutely filthy. Let's get that running. So, a gymnasium. If we were to have a gymnasium in here, it would help out. Now, is it possible I can have a gym? Is it possible I can have a gym? 7 by 7. I could have a 7 by 7 like that. I hadn't just gone on screensaver mode there. I haven't just tried to divide by 0. I was just trying to think of what would be the downside of doing it. And I don't think there is any. Because I've still got 4, 8, 16, 24, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I've got the exact amount of seats needed and I could just put a gym there. It would actually work. And then we have a gym grading. I'm going to do it. I'm going to see if it would work. Weights, bench, and a gym mat. It would actually function. Weights, bench, and a gym mat. Let's try it. Let's give it a go. However, the grading will be different. So, it says no windows, but there's not much I can really do about that. We need weights benches, we need gym mats. If you had a boxing ring, it's +1 grading. Water cooler and dumbbell rack. Okay. So I want the weights bench. I need to do the minimum, which is weights bench and gym mat. So, gym mat. Weights bench. So I'm going to put weights bench, Mr. Bond, gym mat. That's already going to get it done and the grading. It wanted a fan. We can have treadmills, which would go in, because I want this. I'm thinking I'm probably going to do the same in here, but I'm not going to have it as well graded. Gymnasium quality is very low. So I need 6 treadmills and 6 weight benches. So 6 treadmills. I can do 6 treadmills. I couldn't run on 6 at one time. 2, 4, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, that'll be fine. What else for the grading? Punch bag and a boxing ring, which we're not going to have. And a water cooler. And a dumbbell rack. So water cooler. Dumbbell rack. Was it a punch bag? Oh, dearie me. Right. Extremely volatile prisoner is no longer volatile because they're... Well, they're no longer with us. Dog cat dog is coming in. Although... Okay. Catelyn Taylor, extremely strong, is being attacked by Kimberly Grey. And our cat dog came in and stopped that. Shawshank here has just basically sat and watched. Okay, it's now being dealt with. Right, okay. Alright. Fine. I wonder how that has affected the transfers. 5 prisoners qualify now, actually. I'm going to approve all the transfers. And approve all the transfers. There we go. Things are working better. Things are definitely working better. Right, so I'll wait for all these to be put in. I do need electrical cable, which I'll run in like so. So I could change this cleaning cupboard to a mailroom. It is possible. However, I'm probably just going to run it like this. Let's quickly check the quality. So we're on grade 4. I mean, how could I add a window into it? I don't think I can. I can't just put a window in the middle of nowhere. No, that's not going to happen. I could put a bit of wall in the middle and technically put a window in. Can I? Should we just try it? Should we try it? It says surrounded by glass walls. Oh, blocks requires it. Oh, no, that's foundations. Hang on. Glass wall. There. Window. And we're going to go with... I did say we're doing an experiment here. Stained glass window. I don't think this is going to work, but you never know. Why stuff... I was going to say why stuff not gone to storage, but that's because storage is completely full. So, yeah. Wait until I've done this. And I'll double check the grading. I was originally going to put a mailroom around here. But I'm not convinced. Yeah, here we go. They're building that. And then... Yeah, minimum size 7x7. Okay, the game does not like that. Okay. Demolish walls, we'll remove it, we'll prioritize it. Yeah, that's fine. I can understand that. Yeah. Gymnasium. I could actually build up by 1 as well, and it would probably work. Like, I could probably just do that. And that actually would probably work, but I'm not. I'm not going to. Not going to. There we go. So that's fine. Canteen. It's also fine. Flooring. I'm not going to change the flooring on it. So the grading for this is 5 out of 10. Not good enough. I want a punch bag. And that'll probably do it. Because the boxing ring is far too big. Does it need a boxing or a fight ring? Because they're two different things. Boxing ring. Okay. It's going to be a punch bag then. So, there's the punch bags. Yes. And this is our storage here. Sell object. Get rid of it. Make a bit of money. There's some returning inmates. I don't know actually what our grading is on that front. 41% average reoffending rate. It's definitely went up, but then again we didn't have supermax inmates, which we do now. So, if I was to check again at the grading, 118 now for supermax, and minimum sec 191. There is obviously a fairly big jump from supermax to max sec. There's a fairly big jump from supermax to minimum sec naturally. Medium to minimum sec is a big jump as well. This is where we have to stagger it a bit better because there's almost no difference between max sec and min sec. I'm just hoping that inmates at max sec will look at the low sec and think, I just have to go through the other areas. Yeah. No, medium security. 0 max sec inmates are hoping to be moved into med sec. And the same thing for min. But some of that could be due to where the... Yeah, the grading for the rooms, because we go to room quality. So this is grade 10/15. So these are all grade 10, but that prison is entitled to 14. That's an occupied. That's an occupied. Grade 2, grade 14, etc. So they're entitled to grade 14, but there's only grade 10. So... if I was to redo this again, which I am tempted to do, but obviously not next, I would probably actually start at a very lower grading. So have the walls, maybe even a slum, have them less than a 3x2, wouldn't put showers in them, things like that. Really reduce that grade right down. But I thought that the program side of it would help out, and it has sort of, but just not exactly how I envisioned it. There's 6 inmates that now qualify. And all of them probably just haven't, well, because of the transfer list, it's probably just they haven't done anything wrong, which I think is totally valid. Although, when I check that, it's not there. Oh, no, it's at the very bottom, isn't it? There it is there. Approve all. Okay. And then we now have inmates over here. And then, oh, they can immediately, some of them can immediately go down to medium sec. And immediately go down to minimum sec. I'm guessing that these inmates... Yes, maybe I've done it too far now, haven't I? Because it's criteria above 5 out of 7. There's just been... no, it wouldn't be that. 1, 2, 3, 4. All gang members disqualified. It could just be that. I don't know whether it's counting that in. No. I think if we have that on, it could 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, they're not a gang member, and then they've done nothing wrong. And then, yeah, that's why it's gone to that. We should remove the gang member one. So it's based on them not doing anything wrong, plus their reoffending rate and or programs passed. Because otherwise, they could turn up in the facility and have no misbehaviour for 7 days and then immediately be transferred to the very bottom. And that's actually what can happen. It just depends on whether they're motivated or not. But we have made a lot of changes, and we've seen a lot more transfers over now doing this. So what I'm going to do, I am going to add in a... I'm just going to go to Quick Build, Custom, Cloning, and I am going to clone the mailroom. I'm going to move that over, because I don't think we need a mailroom in... Sorry, I think we need a mailroom in here. I think the whole cleaning cupboard thing, it doesn't help me out in any particular way. Because we've already got people cleaning. However, if I have mail for the low risk, that's going to up the grade again on that one. So it is logistics and medium. So the gradings jump to 172. That can actually get very low risk death/injuries. It's interesting that we have some death and injuries in low risk. 118, 147, 172, 191. That's a much, much better spread. That is a much better spread. We can have some max sec inmates, some medium sec inmates, and some supermax. Brilliant. That is much better. I say based on several changes here. So we've got a bigger spread of the grading throughout the facility. I could improve it as well. The grading spread, but not the building quality, because I could put in, for example, slum wall, which decreases a cell's grade. So I could put slum walls in around here. And like I said, upping the grade from here would be easier if I was to not have like large windows in and shower heads and stuff like that. But I did go, I'm going to clone it and work along, which I still think has saved me time in the long run. But it hasn't been as easier as I thought. But it's still been fun. And it's just working much better now. So there's some prisoners wanting to be transferred. Still some that are not bothered about transferring. Elephant in the room is obviously that the whole... This is a female facility and we have to build family cells and nurseries. And so far, there's only some inmates in low risk. In fact, we've only got one family member out of 24 possible. Now, naturally, in the high risk and supermax, you don't get family members. It's just not a thing. Oh, what's going on there? Skunk Starlight, I think they were called. And why is this stuck? The supply truck. Why is it just waiting there? Waiting for people to drop stuff off. I'm going to have to hire some more workers. I didn't really want to do it, but we've had so many trucks stuck. It is becoming a bit of an issue. I think I need more workers. Would it be workers or would it be cooks? I don't think it would be cooks. Hide some more workers anyway. Programs wise, guard taser's done. Don't need to fire safety training. We're doing first aid. We're still on positive cash flow by, well, we're nearly up to $250,000 by the way, and we've been the only thing we've been doing is spending. So there you go. Intelligence, security menu, vulnerable, no one in there. Okay. We will have one last check at the transfers. We got one prisoner motivated to qualify from supermax down to maximum. None from maximum to medium, medium from, well, medium to nothing. But we have just done a bit of a transfer. Okay. But we have turned on prison labour throughout everybody. So they can do the programs. They can bring down their reoffending rate. We also have all of the programs, which is kitchen safety and hygiene across the board, foundation education program, general education qualification, alcoholics group therapies, parole hearing, and spiritual guidance. So we're running all of them successfully. We've obviously changed all of the grading ranging from 118 out of maximum of 250 to 191 of 250. And that can only improve as well because we can get another plus 20 for the no death/injuries, which is why medium sec is up. But overall, I think we can say this has been at least a moderate success. That's close. Yeah. All right. I think I'm glad I've come back and looked back at the facility. I was going to leave it there in the last episode, but I'm glad I've come back and revisited with hindsight and after a little bit of time and feedback and such. And definitely adding in this extra grading bit like the mill and the gym and things like that, and obviously mainly giving prisoners access to programs and stuff, I think has indeed helped out. And it's one of those facilities that it's just going to take time for people to go through. In terms of the challenge, as soon as we got over 100,000, it's just a standing facility with no main issues. Then, you know, you've completed it, mate. You've won the game. Basically, refunding rate has actually dropped down from 41 to 33, so we are doing something right. We are doing something right. Either way, we are going to leave it there for now, and indeed there for this series, for this build. That is the female transfer facility, ranging from a prisoner category of Supermax all the way down to low risk, and indeed with protective custody. As I said, if I was going to redo this, I would probably not go down the clone route necessarily, or what I would probably do is make it so that there's a lot less in the high risk area and probably start with that. So I would start with low risk and work down rather than what I did with, I would start with Supermax and work down to low risk rather than what I did was start with the low risk because it was easier and then clone it over and move them around and add more. We did an additive process rather than a reductive process. But, you know, it is what it is, and it has worked out in the end. Hopefully the journey has been interesting, and I think the destination is acceptable. We are going to do an escape attempt because why not? We're not going to do extreme testing and stuff because there's no real need. It's got so many guards and other things like that I don't expect any problems whatsoever. I might conduct an experiment myself, and if it's of interest, I'll do that episode. But I think we're definitely going to do an escape, and then after that, well, we shall see. What would one want to see for another facility? What sort of angle? What sort of focus of it? Yes, I know the standard procedures are do the every prison, but it's such a nebulous thing, and we have done it in the past that, yeah, it's it's difficult to accomplish without being just very messy. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe criminally insane. Maybe a one focused on punishment. Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, we will go from there. Hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.